Guys, in today's video I'm going to be talking about a step-by-step guide on how to become a full-time Forex trader, the process you should follow, the current process that I'm on to achieve this goal. So I hope you guys get value from the video. If you do, please help the channel by liking, commenting and subscribing. I'd appreciate that. And watch to the end because we've got lots of slides, lots of things that you should help you, whether you're just starting or whether you've been trading for a while. Hopefully this should be valuable to you. So let's get into it. So the first place I'd start, obviously, if you're completely new or been trading for a couple of months, is I wouldn't invest in education just yet. I'd go for free education. Look at people on YouTube, Instagram. Obviously, just be careful who you listen to because it's a minefield out there. There's lots of solid, good people that genuinely want to help, but there's also lots of people that just want to take your money and they don't really care about how well you do and that they haven't got the results they claim to have. So I would say look at free education. As you can see from some of these images, this was back in 2016. I was just looking on YouTube at like live trades and I'd just watch these and I'd make notes. This was one of my accounts. I think it's 2017 there. I had a £500 account, a small account. I was just learning. Didn't really have a set strategy. I was just executing trades. I started on trading 212, which I'm sure a lot of you might have heard of. I didn't know if I liked trading. I just saw it and thought, let's give it a go. And I didn't want to invest too much in education to start with, so I'd say start with free education because that's you get to see whether you like it. Like I say, make sure you actually like it. It's a long road ahead of you, and there's going to be a lot of hard work before you start making consistent money. So you need to make sure it's something you want to put a lot of time into, and not just for the money. I worked part-time at weekends because I knew I wasn't instantly going to start making money from trading. I had a £500 account. I was risking 1% of that, which is £5 per trade. If I made 3-4%, it's £15 to £20 a month. I knew I wasn't going to make much money trading to start with. I wanted to learn the skill. So at weekends, I'd work just to have money. I mean, you need to remember that you're not just going to instantly start making money. And if you risk a lot of money and you're going extremely risky, you might be able to make a little bit, but it's the consistency. You might have a good month, but then you can give it all back the next month. So it's important that you're learning properly. You're learning from people that are credible. So there's lots more people on YouTube now that are credible, and there's a lot more knowledge you can get. Back in 2017, there was lots of people trading, but it wasn't as popular as what it is now. So you have to be careful. And yeah, connect with people, be ready for the learning phase because it's going to take a long time. It might be quicker for some of you, but for the most part, it's going to take a lot of time to not only learn the necessary information, but to get consistent, work on your emotions. So that's why connecting with people, being in a community like this channel where we can hold each other accountable and we all want the same thing, it's massive. A lot of people won't understand what you're doing, won't understand trading. So to be around people that are pushing you in the right direction, it's going to be beneficial. And I say trade demo account or a small amount of money just to start with for the first 1 to 3 months, just to see if you like trading, if it's something you want to do. Because like I said, it's a tough business and it's going to take you a while. So there's no good paying for education, decent money, or paying a lot of money for it, and then not actually wanting to do it or giving up. So next, once you've done that and you've got to a position where, okay, you like trading, you can see you enjoy the process of trading, you enjoy the challenge of it, you enjoy the potential of what you can achieve. You look ahead and think, okay, I can actually do well here. The next best thing is to get into paid education. So stay with free education. When you're confident and you know, okay, I want to take this more seriously, go for paid education because I took longer. I started in 2017, like I said, on my £500 account. And it took me a while because this negative stigma of scammers, and I didn't want to pay. I think I paid £500 for my first course, and then I paid £80 a month for live webinars and stuff like that. And that exponentially, because the company I use, they're not around anymore, but the company that I used were really credible, and they had the best interests of the traders at heart. They weren't promoting flashy things. They were genuinely talking about investing, growing, not get rich quick, nothing like that. That exponentially changed my trading and helped me improve because not only did I have a set strategy, but I was around people that had what I wanted, and you could every day when you woke up for London session, you were watching their webinars and you were seeing and improving. So I should have done this quicker. It took me an extra year. I was just learning off YouTube still and not taking it seriously. I didn't really know what I was doing until I got into a community. So I would recommend that, but like I said, you have to do your due diligence and be careful, because there's lots of credible people, but there's also lots of scammers. So you have to be careful, and you'll get a vibe of a person, whether they're genuine, whether they've got the stuff that you want. So yeah, be careful who you listen to. Learn a strategy and have a trading plan, but you have to have something that you can effectively execute, because there's no good having a trading plan and a profitable trading plan that you can't execute because you're at work. Let's say you're scalping or you're on a smaller time frames. The strategy might work, but if you're at work and you're not able to execute the trades, or you're at school and you can't execute the trades, or you're at university or whatever it may be, it's going to be difficult for you to execute those trades. So you need to make sure that the system that you're learning is going to be something that's going to be beneficial to you and that you can actually execute. And yeah, keep working. Once you're in that community and you're around the like-minded people, keep with that community. And the main next goal is to get consistent. Now you've got the knowledge and information. It's now the consistency aspect, where that's where your emotions come into it, and you have to control your emotions, and you have to make sure that the next main goal is for you to get consistent. So free education, paid education, consistency. Don't strategy swap. Give it time, because there was times where I'd take some trades and I'd have 3 or 4 losses in a row, and I think, oh, does this work? Are they scamming me? Why am I not doing well? I have a strategy out. I know exactly what I'm doing. Why am I not making money? You need to allow the edge to play out, and that happens over a large sample size of trades. So you have to make sure that you're giving it time to play out, and you're not just swapping strategies just because you feel like, oh, this doesn't work, and you see on Instagram some trader posting their trades and they won today when you lost. And stick with your strategy, give it a long term. You can tweak things, but give it time to play out, and make sure that you're not just looking for the next holy grail strategy just because you had a couple of losses. A couple of losses is natural. That's what's going to happen. As you can see here, I was trading this small account, £500. A couple of screenshots, like £18 profit, £14 profit, which is like on my £500 account, just under 3%, just over 3% on this 3 point something, and that's about just under 3. So small amounts, but I just wanted to get consistent on a smaller account, and that was the next goal. Once I was in that community, I'm going to try and strive for consistency each month, 2-3%, slow growth, and just try and improve. So yeah, like I said, the next is consistency. This is the hardest part for me. It took me the longest to achieve. It's a constant battle to stay consistent as well. You don't just get there. It's constant, keeping to your routines, keeping to your structures. But yeah, this took me a while because it's my emotions which let me down. I knew everything theoretically. I could backtest and be consistent, but it took me a long time to get consistent. You can see some of the images here. This was one of the guys in the community, and he was averaging 10% a month. So I knew it was possible. And for me, when I was having good months, bad months, but I couldn't consistently get profitable at that point. So that's why the community was good, because you can have people that can hold you accountable and you can ask questions to. But yeah, I knew a strategy. I thought it'd be easy, but I was completely wrong. Just because you have a strategy, just because you're in a community, doesn't mean you're instantly going to start making consistent money. You have to execute that strategy. You have to become the edge alongside your strategy. So it's important that just because you've got the information doesn't mean you're instantly going to start making money. Keep learning from the bad months and good months. Consistency comes from making mistakes and learning from it. You're going to have trades that win, that were good trades. You're going to have trades that win that were bad trades. Not all winning trades are good. Just because you make money doesn't mean it's a good trade. A good trade is, did you stick to your trading plan? Because long term, that's what you can execute. And if you can execute that, profitably, you can keep executing that trading plan. That's what's going to allow you to have the consistency long term, rather than, oh, I won today or I won this week. If it was a bad trade, if it was a trade that was nothing to do with your trading plan, then that's a bad trade, even if it made you money, because long term, you're going to lose. You're gambling. I kept working part-time jobs until I was consistent. So for me, it can range. There's obviously people that are different, but for the most part, I think consistency, once you have the knowledge and information, you're in a community, it can range anywhere between 1 to 5 years. It varies for everyone. Everyone's got their own strengths and weaknesses. My strengths could be your weaknesses, and your weaknesses could be my strengths. I could have struggles in other areas. You could be easy. It could be fine for you. So a lot of it comes to, like I said, the emotional side, the psychological side, executing trades, knowing if you're more risky, more fearful, or whether you're more greedy, whether you're more risk adverse, or whether you're more of a risk taker. And executing the trades is a massive part, and that's what I struggled with. I struggled to execute trades. I've had a few losses in a row, I'd be more susceptible to not take trades. There'd be other people that were the other way around and they were more risky and they'd double their risk, and you'd ask them, why have you took that trade? That's a terrible trade. And they'd sit there and go, well, they talk themselves into it. I would talk myself out of it. So you have to be aware what side of the spectrum you're on, and then try and work on improving that. I remember this trade, this was probably back in 2017, a small account, but I remember this being a perfect setup that we were taught, and it lost. And I remember sitting there thinking, wow, like this, it couldn't be more perfect. I've seen this play out hundreds of times, and it lost. And that's what made me realise, it's not about, you can have a perfect trade, the most beautiful setup that will play out over time, but you can still lose day to day on that setup. If I know if I take that trade 100 times, I'm going to be, statistically, I'm more likely to be profitable. So yeah, I just remembered that and I thought I'd put that in there. Once you're consistent, and this is the stage where I'm at, once you've got consistent, you want to then look to scale up your capital, whether that's prop firm capital or whether that's your own personal capital. Obviously, prop firm capitals, like most people aren't going to have hundreds of thousands of pounds sat around. So once you've found consistency, you want to look to scale up your capital. That's how you're going to be able to live off it full time, because 1% of my £500 account is £5. I can't live off that. But if I make 1% or 2% on 100k, £2,000, that's the average or a wage that people will get paid for doing a job. So the skill's the same, the strategy's the same, the execution of the trade's the same, but the money is completely different. So that's why scaling up your capital, like any business, you scale up when you understand what you're doing and there's a market and demand for your product or service. Same with trading. When you know what you're doing and you've found an edge in the market, you want to then look to scale up. So use your own capital or look for prop firm, or both. I think using both is the most important thing you should do, because you don't know how long prop firms are going to be around. There's been prop firms recently that have been shut down and not paid out. So I would say use prop firm capital to scale up, and then filter 80% of that, or have a much percentage of that capital back into a personal account that you also trade. It's quite simple. Don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. It's very important. Every bit of money you trade, you have to accept the loss. It's not about how much you're making, it's about how much you can afford to lose. Don't look to leave your job straight away unless you have a lot of savings, 6 months worth of savings, because it's easier to trade when you don't have to live off that income. There was a time where I was doing it completely full time, and I'd have good months and bad months, but if I got 2-3 weeks into the month and I hadn't placed a trade just because there was no setups, it added extra pressure because I was solely dependent and living off that income. And that added pressure, that added emotions, and it's not great mixture if you need that money and you're going to look for trades that aren't there. You're going to look to trade things that aren't there and that you shouldn't be in. So it's important that you're not solely reliant on that money, and also you can let it compound. Because I was withdrawing every month, I wasn't able to compound my personal account. So each month I'd make X amount and then I'd withdraw that to pay the bills and pay the things I need to pay. But it's not growing. So just make sure that like I said, it's easier if you have a full-time job, or even if you have another side business. Trading's up and down. You can have a bad month, but you can finish the year very strong. So if you're not dependent on that money, it makes it easier. If you're making 3, 4, 5% on 100k, 3,000-4,000 a month, there should be no problems. It depends on your lifestyle and your expenses, but for the most part, you don't want to add any extra added pressure, and that's what I found when I did it. So just make sure that you either have a lot of money saved in case you have bad months, or you have income, or you work a job as well. Whatever your situation is, it's down to you, but that's what I would say. And like I said, this is the stage where I'm at, so I'm documenting it on this channel. I want to help people from all the years of experience I've got. Lots of things I did right and wrong. So that's why I want to make this video and help people, show them the process that I would take, whether I'm just a beginner or whether I've been doing it for a few months, to get to that full-time status and keep growing your funded accounts. Like I said, be careful with prop firms. No one knows how long they're going to be around for, so you want to make the most of them while they're here. Only when you're consistent, though. If you've been trading for 6 months and you don't really know what you're doing, you've had a couple of good months, don't look to go straight for funding. You need to make sure that you're aware of what you're doing. Obviously, these are some of the prop firms that are about. And yeah, you can pay £100,000 account, $540, I think, and you need to hit 10% return for phase 1 and 5% for phase 2. Now a lot of these have unlimited time limits, but at the time it was 30 days to hit that. So that's some of the typical challenges. You can do 10,000, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000. It's just a way of scaling up your capital without having to save your own money. It's a fast track way if you have the skill set. They're fund traders that know what they're doing. And then lastly, consistency on the funded account and personal account. So like I said, put a lot of the profits that you make back into your personal account, because yeah, we don't know how long these prop firms are going to be around. If you kept it all in that prop firm account, let's say you scaled the account from 100,000 to 130,000 in 6 months, you've got £30,000 profit. If that goes bust or they don't pay out, you want that in your own personal account and then put it like into your own bank and then put it back into your own personal accounts. Again, that's what I would do. I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do, but that was my logic, because you don't know how long they're going to be around, do we? So always trade your own account with a lower risk, because it's your own personal money. With prop firms, if you've got a buffer, you pay $500 and you get a £100,000 account, you can afford to be a bit more risky because it's not your money. With your own personal account, if you lose that money, it's gone. With the prop firm, you can just buy another one, or you pay $500 to get a 100k account. Then you get the refund if you pass. So there's different strategies that some people use. They go a bit more risky on the prop firm accounts, and then they have a lot lower risk on their own personal accounts, and they filter the money of the prop firm back into their own personal accounts. But again, that's down to you to decide. Yeah, your main account's obviously most important, because you need that account. You've always got that account. Then the prop firms can come and go whenever. It's now about keeping the funding. A lot of people get the funded accounts and think they've made it. Oh, I'm a 6-figure trader now, I've got the 100k. But it's about consistency. It's a constant battle to stay consistent. Just because you've got the funding doesn't mean you've made it, you've got it. You now need to keep that. They have drawdown limits in place that if you lose 10% of the account, you lose the whole account, so you're back to square one. So you still need to work as hard as what you did to get to that funded account. When you've got it, you need to still keep being around like-minded people, hold yourself accountable, stick to your routine, stick to the processes that you know are going to keep you at peak performance, and ensure you keep that account. And that's, you're going to have your own strategy on how you keep that account. Like I say, whether you go more risky or whether you go less risky or whatever that may be, it's now consistency on the funded account. You could be consistent on a smaller account, but now these numbers are a lot bigger. Each month it's a lot more money fluctuating. Instead of, like I said, making 1%, or let's say you're up 3%. 3% on 100k, 3k is going to be rolling up and down. 3% on a £500 account is £15. Your emotions and your decisions are going to be different because the numbers are a lot bigger. So you have to control that. Make sure you have a strict trading plan that you follow so that you can limit the emotion as much as possible. And then, yeah, it's just about scaling up your accounts, filtering money back into your personal accounts, and growing from there. So that would be the process I would take. Number one, free education. No point no point looking into trading for the first couple of weeks, couple of months, and jumping straight into paid education. You don't know if you like it. You don't know if it's going to be for you. Just because there's the flashy images online, people think, oh, you can make a lot of money. You can, but it's a lot of hard work. So you have to really want it. When you do know you want it, if you're happy and you think, okay, I want to do this, I'd recommend getting to paid education. Again, do your due diligence. Make sure that you're aware of the good companies and bad companies. I can't personally recommend anyone because the company I use isn't around anymore, and it's not my place to recommend. You have to do your own due diligence, and it's a risk at the end of the day. But there are lots of good companies out there that genuinely want to help you improve your trading. And then once you're with that company or with that community and you're happy with the trading style, you can execute those trades. It's just consistency from there. Building the skill set, getting consistent, learning from your mistakes. And then when you're consistent, you want to look to scale up. And yeah, that would be the process I would take to go full time. So yeah, hope you guys got value from this video. Hope you enjoy this type of content. Let me know down below if you do. And yeah, I appreciate the support on the channel. Like I said, if you get value, make sure you comment or like, subscribe. It'd help the channel grow, help more people. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.